Do you know this guy? Yeah, he's called Matthew Foulkes, and he's the Pro Tour Lille winner.
Yeah.
How are you, my friend?
I'm very good.
Yeah.
I'm very good. Didn't
go too well yesterday.
Didn't go too well for me yesterday, but that's okay. You know, everyone has good tournaments, bad tournaments.
Yeah.
You know,
You've
I
had
lost
your
to some-
fair share of good tournaments.
Yeah,
over the years, so,
I'm definitely way above expectation. I can't complain about my luck. You know, I lost to some players. I think one of who is maybe on table 1 or 2. I'm not sure. He was maybe table 1 last round. Piotr. It's a Polish name. I can't pronounce it exactly, but he's a strong player. I lost to Michael Feng. I lost to Thun, a Swedish player, in the last round. All very strong players, you know. So I can't be sad to lose to strong players. It's, you know, it's part of it.
Happens. Yeah, lots of strong players in the room. By the way, I think yesterday there was a table where there was like Pablo Pintor, Michael Feng, and you like
there
right
was some
next
really
to
cool
each other.
pictures
Yeah,
of this.
So that's
When we finished, there was like a giant crowd around us. It was pretty intense.
What do you think of the atmosphere of this particular event? Because
it's
you've
huge.
been to a lot. Yeah,
It's huge.
It is cool, right?
This is like every time. Like I think like is Flesh and Blood still growing? You know, are there more people interested? Is it going to live up to the hype? And this event there's like 800 people here. I think, you know, we had like 660 or something in the coin.
It is the biggest event in Europe so far.
By far as well.
Yeah.
By far. And like the fact that keeps happening is a great sign. You know, it's not slowing down. Like we had just 1,000 people almost in Baltimore.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's real. It's great. It's exciting to see. It's
The
exciting
game
to see
go that
the game
way.
keep growing.
Yeah.
And we got a really interesting
look at
matchup.
the mat on Caleb's
Yeah,
side.
so
the
we have Mr. Bravo
Definitely.
himself.
So we listen to chat because the chat is always asking us for more Kale. They had the meme like post a snail for Kale. So there you go. Kale is here, guys. What do you have to say? Yes, snails for Kale.
Exactly. So first thing I want to see is exactly what equipment Kale's going to be running here.
Yeah, because you were talking about it to me when we were offline about the equipment and if he's running the tunic, right?
Yeah. So some of the Bravos I know have. This was before the new set when Iyslander and Oldham were sat at the top in the world's meta game. Some of the Bravos had swapped to playing tunic because it can be quite dangerous, quite vulnerable to activate a seismic surge at the start of your turn because it gives your opponent an opportunity to use a frostbite. And so if he has tunic, I found that can be quite helpful. It was quite difficult to deal with. I was playing the Iyslander side a lot of the time.
Yeah, definitely.
Kale, no doubt, will know best. He's, I think, definitely a strong candidate for the best Bravo in the world. I think no one else has made a stronger case, that's for sure. And,
yeah, definitely. And he's been at it for so long that you feel like there's no situation that he hasn't met before, you know?
Yeah, he'll certainly know this
seen it all.
matchup like the back of his hand.
Yeah.
He's right up there in lifetime XP. This man's been playing Armories week in, week out since we were children. since before they even made the game, probably, you know? So I'm excited to see where he goes with his equipment and also like how aggressive he's willing to be.
Yeah, he told me yesterday that in the Lexi matchup he's going very aggressive, but I don't know how aggressive he can afford to be versus Iyslander, you know?
It can be like, so the Oldham matchup from, well, even still with Iyslander, it plays out like a weird dance where you have to walk the line between like building permanence and tempo, like building permanence and like value for the end game to maybe set up a combo so you can't be fatigued, but also and he does have the tunic. There you go.
And AB3 with the hood, the gloves and the boots.
He does have the tunic. So like I said, he's come prepared. He has an idea.
Yeah,
he has a plan.
He knows what to do in this situation. Yeah.
And Iyslander is not playing a weapon apparently. I'm sure he'll flip it over. But,
that's probably something.
So we're gonna see how aggressive, and he starts with.
It is aggressive, right? A Thunderquake on the first turn, yeah.
And we already see some of those key permanents in Wouter's hands. We see some of the, I think that's 2 Frost Hexes.
Yeah. And blocking with the CNC because Kelly is going so aggressive that he doesn't even want an arsenal in this first turn.
No point having a CNC if your opponent's just gonna go all in.
Yeah. Okay. So he's already down to 31. Nice. Yeah, I guess we have an answer as to how he wants to approach the game. Kaylee is
Maybe we
aggressive.
can. I don't know if we can get a judge to ask him to present a weapon, but we'll see.
Oh yeah, he hasn't. Yeah, it's face down. The weapon is face down. If someone can ask them to put the weapon face up. On Iyslander side, and a wounded bull.
Okay, so here's an interesting choice already, because he had the opportunity to play a Frost-Hex this turn, play a Frost-Hex next turn with the 2 Frost-Hexes, and then commit very early to having this like chipping away defensive long game plan where you're just trying to get as much value from those Frost-Hexes. But I mean, wounded bull for 8 is always a hard deal to turn down, you know. So maybe
We saw that Kane blocked with 2 cards from his hand, so maybe not as aggressive as we thought.
and just a pass back.
Yeah, weird. After that very aggressive first turn, what does it mean?
I mean, it speaks to him potentially moving towards maybe a semi-fatigue or a full fatigue plan.
Okay.
That's what I think. But Kale's going to get a bit punished here because
This insidious chill can be annoying in the long run, right?
he also saw him pitch the first Frost-Hex.
Yeah.
And so, knowing that the Frost-Hex is on the bottom of his deck, he knows that he's going to have to go all the way through back to the second cycle to be able to get access to that like key piece of control. And
okay, the CNC.
yeah, and he's
Water
keeping I think the
side.
last Frost-Hex in hand, so he's going to have another permanent for next turn. And yeah,
Okay, so he's blocking it out. Looking for 7 there.
it seems like Kale is on a fatigue plan. That seems to be. Yeah, and sure enough, he just passes back. He's not.
Oh
he's,
my
he's
god.
happy to sit here.
I mean, no one would play the matchup that way, right?
I mean, I don't think so. Knowing that there's been a pitch already to the bottom is like pretty key. Like knowing that you've seen the Frost-Hex go, like that gives you
Some more time.
It gives you a lot of time. But if Kale's not presenting any damage at this stage of the game, maybe he just because he's not even swinging back at all. He's happily willing to burn cards in hand. Maybe he thinks that, like, I guess he has 3 sigil of souls.
Oh yeah.
Maybe he thinks that like 46 life is safe.
Does he run the this Respat maybe too? You think it's
Maybe he has them in the sideboard, and that's what he's
just for
banking
that
on.
matchup?
Yeah, this and I guess Kano as well.
Yeah, Kano as well. Yeah.
I mean, it's been a plan for Olden for a long time, but
The Aether Ice Vein coming in for 3,
I can't imagine this hits.
but was it fused? Yeah, it was fused.
No,
Yeah. Oh, he
no,
does.
he didn't fuse. He didn't fuse.
Oh, no, he didn't fuse.
Which is
He
actually
kept-
a shrewd move because Vuta clearly knows that he needs to save those charges. They need to stack, they need to combo, and
Okay, so you pitching the Terra Sender for the hero power of Bravo, and now the strong crippling crush.
okay, so maybe.
I
what
mean,
we're
he's going
seeing-
back and forth with blocking it all and then attacking with the strong. Maybe he's just waiting for this kind of attack.
So he didn't have the second.
So no crush on that one.
No crush,
On
but
that crippling crush.
maybe that speaks to Kale not looking to fatigue and more just having
waiting for the strong attack, the strong
maybe just
crush.
him drawing
yeah.
some poor opening hands and choosing to be a bit more defensive while he can. Certainly a game in flux. This turn really changed my expectation of where the game was heading. And again, we see Kale happy to block, and I'm curious whether he'll swing the hammer or just opt to pass straight back.
It is a weird game so far. What do you think, Chat?
And he
you
does
know
have
that
swing
Chat
hammer.
is the best player of all
Yeah,
of us. So
that's true.
We should ask Chat about what they think.
I'm sure they know exactly what's going on. We're us mere mortals are left just to guess. And he does choose to swing the hammer. So if now he chooses to swing the hammer, but before he didn't, does that mean he's changed his plan, or?
I mean, I want to ask him more about the game
this is
after it's over because I don't understand what's going on.
yeah. Like
don't
I'm not
understand
saying that
the
he's
change
making a
of plans.
mistake.
No. I mean, he's so far ahead of of everybody else in this kind of situation and playing Bravo for so long that, as we said earlier, that I think he knows what he's doing, but
I'd like to know what he's doing. It's and the tunic, as of yet, to do anything. But one thing that the tunic is really useful for is if your opponent goes for a big combo with and he blocks here with
two cards, so he blocks.
I didn't see the second card he blocked with, but
so that's a chill.
He blocked with a chill, so.
And attacks only with the Fionl's fighting spirit, so getting 1 health back and attacking for 7.
Interesting. Giving up a chill from his deck can be costly, because now we know there's a Frost Hex on the bottom, a chill in the graveyard. I didn't see the other card that got blocked with. So now.
But you know that this first Frost Hex is gonna come back, and he'll be able to play it regardless, because the game is gonna be long.
Yeah, we're gonna be here for a good amount of time. Right? although Vuta, his plays would suggest that he is here for a good time and not a long time. And again, KL choosing to swing the hammer, keep 1 card back, not letting the shields down.
And rouse the Ancient pinch, so maybe he's trying to pitch stack a strong second cycle that's where he's gonna go all out and try to really go on the offensive. So he is coming for 8 now. That's a good chunk of damage. Going down to 21. But that's 2 rouse the Ancient's pitch, so I don't think we're gonna see. I mean, there's no way he's gonna. He never wants to draw these cards together. Yeah.
But he's got to be aggressive, because Vuta doesn't seem to be setting up for the fatigue plan, but
5 go in with the E-strike, so okay.
And I'd assume that there's another attack for 8, probably coming from Arsenal here. No, coming from hand. Okay.
Oh.
So this is a 13 from 4 cards. It's not bad.
It's pretty good. Getting 1 health. Yeah. Blocking with the showtime. Taking 4. So And now he's probably just gonna Arsenal, right?
Arsenal will just swing the hammer.
For 4? Yeah.
And what's curious is I don't think a single point of arcane damage has been dealt in this game.
Yeah, that was a good.
We've literally seen no arcane. We're seeing 2 guardians.
Oh no! The other Iyslander went through.
Oh, he didn't block?
No.
No, okay. So he took the 3. True. So there's 3 arcane.
He wasn't fused, so he took it.
There's 3 arcane and 12 physical.
Yeah. And maybe a waning moon hit too. But yeah.
So certainly a different game, and that's how you want it as Iyslander. You want to draw your attacks early, so that in the late game.
And that's what I was about to say. It's going perfectly according to plan for Vuta, because he's got all these Wounded Bull and the Fionl's Fighting Spirit and the E-strikes in these early games, in these early turns.
And I got to give compliments to both players. Actually, they're both playing at like a very strong pace, and that speaks to both players understanding that if it does go the distance, and you do have to set something up a little more complex at the end, you'll need those. You'll need those minutes to think later on, and you just want to get slamming early. And he has a red Ice Vein fused. Okay, so he's now willing to commit more resources. I think Wuta's sort of saying here that we've traded enough life that I'm not worried about the fatigue plan anymore. I want tempo, and he has a second chill there as well. It's going to be going into his arsenal unless he chooses to moon, which I think he won't. So.
Okay, so he's playing for the Ice Vein
and the chill, and he uses Tunic to get value there to block an extra life.
Yeah.
So far, Tunic blocked for 1. Could be worse. Could also be better, but
yeah, probably could be better. Yeah,
but
I agree.
I think this game is probably not going exactly how KL wants it, but if you can get Wuta without an arsenal, I think what he's looking like, if you can get Wuta off an arsenal with like a CNC or a pummel, like catch him with either a D-react or an attacking Arsenal and can catch him off, and then get him on the back foot where the crushes come in, like a crippling or...
Yeah,
crippling
that's
is the
probably
main one.
what he's waiting for, you know? Yeah, big crippling crush turn or a CNC with a pommel would be nice. Coming back to what you said like a few seconds ago about the pace of play, is that something that you think about right away when you see your opponent and that you know that it's probably gonna be a long game? Are you like, yeah, I need to think about that right now and start playing fast? Or do you just take the time you need to set up the perfect place? How do you approach it?
There's usually a balance you need to find. I've certainly sat down at a game with my opponent before and told my opponent, I've seen an opponent slowly getting their things out, slowly taking their time, leisurely, and I know that this is going all the way, and I'm like, hey man, we need to hurry, we need to get to work, like. If it's the fatigue Oldhim, the old very hard fatigue Oldhim decks in Blitz, you weren't playing a game there. You were doing work. You were doing manual labor for 30 minutes before you got to the end game. And I was like, listen, we need to get this done. We need to be slamming cards quickly. And certainly in those spots, you probably are willing to make some suboptimal plays.
Just to make sure that you have time to do the better play,
to get to an end game, and that's part of the difficulty playing card games is you have to make difficult strategic decisions with limited information and limited time.
That's the thing. Sometimes it's hard to ask your opponent to play faster, and some players that don't even dare doing it. And maybe after some years of experience, like the way you have it, maybe you tend to do it a little bit more. Or?
I still struggle for sure. Yeah, no. The pace of my play is something I actually actively should work on. I came very close to a draw with Michael Feng yesterday. He was victorious in the end, but and draws are such a detriment to a tournament in Flesh and Blood that you want to avoid them at all costs.
Absolutely.
One thing I think that goes understated in a lot of people's games is like how long it takes to just do the basic things, the physical things. Where if you're slow to shuffle, you're slow to draw your hand, you're slow to put your pitch stack on the bottom. These things all add up. Yeah. And suddenly at the end of the game, you would have had 4 extra minutes, and you're like, oh, if I just had one more turn. And it's like, well, if you shuffle, you're quicker, you do quicker, you pitch quicker, you just
it makes sense.
You have more time to think and less time just to move around. Yeah. So, but then again, you need to take the time not to forget your tunic. As Chat points out, it happens. Everyone in this game for sure, apart from Chat, has Mr. Tunic, and again, Kale, happy just to keep one card in hand, not let the doors, leave the door open, and again, a red Ice Vein.
The other Ice Vein with 2, This is two Insidious Chills activations, obviously, so you have to pay.
Yeah, so he'll block 3 and pay 6 to take 2.
Wow. It is expensive.
And the moon will come through. So this is deal 4. Yeah. The 3 cards. Your opponent discards 3. Pretty good.
It is a strong turn, yeah.
Pretty good. And so...
And Kale is already pretty low, right?
Yeah, we're not too far off a position where Kale starts to be in combo range. Wuta has a lot of the attacks out of his deck at this point, which is important for those late game turns when you're desperate to draw one of your big attacks. And to be fair,
PCs,
you are trying to draw an Aether Ice Vein later on in the game, and we've already seen 2 of the red ones go. So that does speak in Kale's favor, and I think.
Well, he's very low now.
He's blocking as much as he can
with the waning moon. Yeah.
So I think it's difficult for Kale to be aggressive now. We might see him just pivot to a full block and just hope that enough resources have been burned, and Wuta's not missing a step here, is he?
Yeah, but that's
every
the
turn
thing,
just
he switches. He
7.
switches to physical damage and then arcane damage when he has a red Ether Ice Vein. So that's very hard to play against. We see a second Command and Conquer on the Kale side.
And it's great to see Iyslander again. I've
You missed her.
I played it at Worlds. I love this hero. It reminds me of Prism. You know, just being able to play at instant speed, like interacting so deeply with your opponent.
Yeah.
You know, maybe people don't like being interacted with in that way, but it's certainly fun for the Iyslander side.
Yeah, I know that some people definitely don't like being interacted in that way. If you.
They wanna do what they wanna do.
Yeah.
And they don't want no one stopping them.
But I think it's good that that some heroes like that exist. No, that people that tax the resources of their opponent, like Oldhim does too. It's.
Yeah, I think maybe
when Tales of
instant...
Aya was released, I was like, yeah, alas, something like that in this game. That was amazing.
Yeah, Prism. With Prism coming back, I hope that we can do it again.
Mm-hmm. Maybe we can talk more about the Prism and the cards that have been spoiled so far after this game. Yeah, I'm curious to have your advice on them and your input on them. So yeah, Anotos for 4 so far.
And we've seen this one.
Is he bluffing
so many times
the
now,
10? Yeah, but maybe he's trying to do the sneaky pummel, turning Anotos into a 6 attack and then +4 with the red pummel.
The problem.
But yeah, the problem is that
even if he does that,
he's fully open to. Yeah.
He opens the door for his opponent to chip him back down to 9, to 6. You know. Even to 10, and then you start to be in the case where you can never safely open the door. And it feels like Kale's played this game in a way trying to be safe and never willing to go all out too much. Maybe it speaks to the quality of his draw this game, but he's often like kept a card in hand to play around being dealt arcane, and that's potentially been to his detriment because
it never happened, right? I don't think. Yeah, I think Votor always.
There was last turn where he played the frosting.
Oh yeah.
But apart from this, I don't think. You know, so far in this game, seismic tectonic plating would have potentially been better.
Oh yeah.
And we're not going to see a fuse here.
Okay, and that's the blue one, so he can use the Arcane Barrier to block it out. Using 1 resource for the tunic and
pitching a red.
And the red choke slam, So there you go. No damage on this turn. I mean, no damage.
And are we just going to see him swing the hammer and keep a blue in hand again? Sure enough.
Nice.
Now the question is, what does he have? Does Kale have an arsenal?
Oh yeah, it's been like 3 turns that he's kept it in the arsenal.
It's been there for a while, and something. Could it be a crippling? He's
just waiting for the right hand for the crippling, maybe. Yeah.
I mean, he could have. If he has 2 blues here, then, which I assume he does, since he's keeping one card in hand, then maybe he could have gone for a tunic activation plus. But that opens you up to a frostbite, ruining your day.
But I think Votor is also keeping his card in his arsenal for a long time now.
Yeah,
maybe maybe it's a defense reaction. He's just waiting for the perfect moment to use it against a big crush attack.
A defense reaction.
Or a combo piece.
Or potentially an Ice Eternal. Probably not a Frost Hex at this stage of the game. Usually, once the life totals get this low, you're not desperate to develop more permanence in play because you don't have enough time to accrue the value from them. If you can get those Frost Hexes down turn 1, turn 2, that's turn 3, turn 4. That's
the Zealous Belting, so now switching gears again and trying to, attacking for 5 go again with this Zealous Belting. It's the last one, I think he blocked with the 2 others earlier. What do you think about the Channel Lake Frigid in this matchup? Because it doesn't do much, right?
There's so many blues in Kale's deck.
Yeah, it's easier to attack for 6 with an auto.
Yeah, he's also not happy to. He's not unhappy to pitch 2 cards to an auto for 6 with 2 floating. But
So I'm curious on why we see it in this matchup. Maybe it's
a
just
blue.
because
It's a block 3.
and it's ice.
Yeah. That's about all you can say for it.
It's enough.
Yeah. And it's something that if you play it on your turn, it still will disrupt your opponent. Especially if you play it on their turn, you get it for 2 turns.
Yeah.
It can be enough to get the job done. And again, we've still seen these cards in Arsenal for so long for both players now.
Yeah, because you can also pummel on Zelus belting if he has a pummel. So
it could be a pummel.
Yeah, it could be interesting. No, he's not pummeling on this one.
No, so he's just taken the 5,
yeah.
and we'll see. So Kale has 2 cards in hand, I believe, because he's aggressively flicking them, and he does. And it's just the hammer now, leaving 2 mana up for 6. This Arsenal card is really bothering me. 2 resources. I'm slipping here. I'm slipping.
What's going on?
And a block for 2. Not particularly efficient from Vutabo.
Not really. All right.
Which, if he doesn't have a great comeback here, then.
But it looks like it's a defense reaction in his arsenal or something that because there's no.
No, it's
Scar. It's a Scar for Scar. So he was waiting to be below. Yeah, below Kale to be able to profit from the go again.
And if he has an 8 to follow up here, or
yeah,
because he's going to go to 13, so he's still going to be higher. So if he has the 8, this is so harsh.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay, it's just 7. Still very, very good.
it's
but
okay,
I was like,
yeah.
it's the worst when you look at the life totals and you're like, they just won more, and they get maximum, they get all of the value. But this is still a really strong turn for Wuter. It just buys so much tempo, and Kale might just pass back here. A sigil.
Oh, nice.
A sigil. That's what he was waiting so patiently for. Okay.
So we can assume that he's running 3 of them.
Yeah, there must be 3 more in the deck.
So that has to be a worry for Wouter, right? Because if you combo off and then he gains 6 health at the last second.
It can be dangerous. Without any ice hexes, it's unlikely to be a full combo. It might be a case of waiting for the 3rd ice vein. The 3rd red ice vein, stripping 3 cards in hand from that, and then striding into another attack. Maybe getting your opponent to block with something as well on your turn, setting up sort of a 2-fold combo. I think, Ice Eternal maybe comes into it, but the life totals aren't high enough where you need to set up that big Frost Hex. Ice Vein, Insidious Chill, Ice Eternal, 40, 50 U. We don't need that. We just need a solid 2-turn cycle where you strip some cards on your turn, go to your opponent's turn, and just finish them off. And Wuter's thinking a long time about this 3 life, which is curious.
I mean, he's like,
is he thinking about whether he can go for the kill?
Yeah.
And it looks like eventually he said, okay, that's fine. It's fine, you can have your 3 life.
Or maybe just bluffing,
Yeah, like, is he thinking about killing him from 12? That's aggressive. That's aggressive.
Okay, so he's keeping a full hand now. And Nick. Polar Blast.
Nice. The Polar Blast from hand to give Dominate. And Kale can pay for it with his Tunic if he so desires. This sort of says, I'm going to attack you for 8 Dominate. Or 7 Dominate. Which is not a great play, but this can certainly get the job done in these late stages because you can still moon after it.
Yeah.
And so, 7 or 8 Dominate plus a Waning Moon. And Kale's not going to pay, so here comes maybe an attack for Dominate. Or maybe this is just a bluff.
I don't think we see a big attack in Wouter's hand, so it was a bluff. Unless there's a big attack in the arsenal, but I don't think so. If it was bluff, it was a very nice one.
Especially
because in this situation,
I don't think it should be, because he played an E-Strike last turn. And if he had a Wounded Bull or a Final Fighting Spirit,
it was
I
better
think he
to
would
attack
choose
with the
to
bull.
probably play it. So unless the last card in his hand was also a red, it would make sense that it would make sense that the card in his arsenal isn't a big attack. So maybe this is just a bluff. Maybe this is just trying to
call it like a boss.
Yeah, maybe this is like a budget Winter's Bite.
Yeah, there you go.
It's a it's pay one for a Winter's Bite. That's what he was.
Frosting, yeah.
He played like he tried to turn
And
the
the
Polar
blue?
Blast
Yeah,
basically into your opponent pays one.
And the Iyslander is pitched now.
Yeah. So I guess he chose not to go for the Ice Eternal there because, and this was.
So
wow.
maybe he had the sigil was right at the perfect time.
Okay, and now.
CNC,
Now-
and if there is
now-
a pummel now.
Or defense reaction.
Wow.
This game really turned on a dime with this last turn. Because I thought that Wuta was completely in control
Yeah.
until a turn where he went 4 cards, deal you 3. That's not a very
That's
good turn.
not very impressive, right?
So what's in his arsenal? It can't deal more than that. It can't deal more damage than 3.
Yeah. I guess we will see pretty soon if there's a pummel now, right?
And we don't have too much information about what Kale's last card is. Okay, and he's going to cycle. We're just going to cycle away the arsenal
So
to
we
play
won't
around.
see it actually. Okay. Is the pummel coming in? Yeah,
And
there
it
you go,
is.
the red one. So he's down to 4 now.
And Kale could have another pummel.
Oh yeah. No, he
Kale could
couldn't
have
play-
another pummel and just
But
end
he
this
can't
game
play
with.
for it.
He has 2 mana.
Oh yeah.
And that just ends the game, even the blue one. He really could have misstepped by not making a block here. And he has all of it in hand. He has a fighting spirit. I know, it's just going to be...
I didn't see the die, but yeah, you're right. He has 2 resources. You said mana again, by the way. I mean,
and
I'm
I'm
happy to remind you about it.
I'm an amateur. I'm an amateur. Old habits die hard, I guess.
Yeah.
And
He's showing his arsenal. Did you see him tapping the card in his arsenal? Tail? He did.
he flipped it, or?
No, but he just tapped it. He was like, yeah, I have a card in my arsenal. So maybe he said, if this was a pummel, you are dead, my friend.
And we're going to see if Kale's able to use all of his mana. And Kale...
You said mana again.
I'm off the edge. Someone stop me.
Well, I'm trying, but it's, I mean...
It's not possible.
Okay, so that's a decent attack. Yeah? Getting 1/2 back, attacking for 7, that's cool.
And we're going to see how Kale plays it. Maybe his plan is to play defensive a little bit until Wuta has another off turn and then push to be aggressive as he was last time.
That's, yeah, maybe the third Command and Conquer with the pummel that ends the game on the spot, so... Okay. Taking 1. Taking 2? Oh, one of the cards blocked for 2 only? Okay, I didn't see the second card he blocked with.
And Kale choosing not to weapon here is a really scary prospect, because if you're willing to burn a card every turn, at some point you just get valued out by the Iyslander. And I think we're seeing the second cycle come around now. I think we might be seeing the first Frost Hex that was pitched on turn 1 come back around.
Oh.
And if you're willing to keep an extra card in hand and your opponent just plays permanence, okay, and
That's the third red, the red Aether Ice Vein. There you go.
and he's pitching the blue one
So he used the red one.
and fuses with a Frost Hex. And we see what else will happen this turn, but I think he has the
Red Ice Vein.
yeah. So he's coming in with the red Ice Vein for 5 and 2 chilling triggers, and then we're going to see this followed up with a Waning Moon. So he's going to take Kale's hand or chip away for some damage here, and then whatever can go in Arsenal can really start to be threatening.
Oh, it is a back and forth because this Ice Vein came at the perfect moment now.
There's also for sure in hand a Findel's Fighting Spirit for 7. It can't come in this turn, so maybe that's part of his plan for later on. But maybe it was right to pitch this back into your stack to have an instant speed or another attack later on and guarantee 4 blues for next turn. So or not to have an attack in your hand next turn, so you can you can set up for a big combo kill on your opponent's turn.
So he had to discard the Crippling Crush actually. He couldn't. Okay. So
Kale's taking
3, I guess.
1, 2,
Yeah.
he's taking 3, yeah.
And the Waning Moon now. Okay.
No, Kale's
Down
taking
to
2.
6.
Kale took 2, sorry. And then the Waning Moon he takes. And he's just going to pass his turn. And now Kale's trapped back against the wall. And what could it be in Arsenal here? I'm starting to think this might be another Sigil. And again, every time that Kale passes, he's slowly getting chipped away on value because he's unable to use this last card. And I wonder if all of these conservative decisions throughout the game have maybe been a bit risk averse, because every time you give your opponent, every time you play around that arcane damage by keeping the card in hand, it's like almost they dealt the damage anyway because you didn't get to use the card. And so as long as Wouter can efficiently work through his hands and his cards, you're going to start accumulating value.
I know you're not always playing against a player of the level of Kyle Mccreath, but as an Iyslander player, you've played Iyslander a lot, you talked about it. When you're facing Bravo, do you feel comfortable, do you feel favor against it, or is that always a scary proposition?
They can certainly push you right to the edge. I would say in general, it is somewhat Iyslander favored. They struggle to beat the combo if you get a good start. They struggle because they don't have Crown of Seeds in the same way that Oldham does. And they also struggle to they struggle to play this trading game because again, you see where Kale is keeping his card in hand and getting kind of valued out. And so the instant speed nature of Iyslander just slowly chips away at you without you ever being able to commit one way or another to value. And like almost discarding cards from your opponent's hand, which is what drawing 3 every turn is. Like it's like you give your opponent an intellect penalty. Kind of by the end of the game is what's made the difference, because Wouter's had a couple of off turns himself. But because Kale's been keeping that card in hand so many times, it's almost like he's had the off turns himself. And maybe that's just because Kale hasn't had the options. I wonder whether Tunic was better this game than thing, but it's not over. We just one off turn from Wouter, one underwhelming turn if Kale pulls the trigger at the right moment. But it's very dangerous and Kale's checking the graveyard. He's working out what's left, what's going to kill me.
What are the threats left?
And when I think about what the threats are, there's another Emeritus Scalding. At least one, I think. There's a blue Ice Vein.
Are some lists playing the yellow Ice Vein, or is that off the table?
They certainly can. It's sort of a last card inclusion if you really favor those decks. They can be strong into the aggro decks, I think. That tends to be where people like them. And it was also a little bit stronger when you could still play the Amulet of Isis. Because you needed more ways to trigger the Amulet and those turns where you just rip 2 or 3 cards out of your opponent's hand, completely put them on the back foot. So I think Yellow Ice Vein has fallen somewhat out of favor now. Players tend to play a few more Brain Freezes, just a few more value pieces. And this is a key decision for Kale. He's trying to work out whether he's getting Storm Strided out of the game.
Is it over?
And are we going to see if Wouter has a decent turn here? I think that all but spells. Okay, just 3.
Is that considered decent?
It's
not.
It's right on the borderline. I think it's right on the borderline. It's certainly no. And Kale not willing to take a single point of damage there, pitching 2 cards.
I mean, at this point, he can't allow to let anything go through, right?
No. His life totals at the point where he's at the mercy of basically any spell in the deck, and it's just a matter of time before probably Wouter can put the pieces together, and we might see it here with a Winter Spite pulling one card, the CNC pulling 2 more. KL's going to go to his turn with
he's good.
with
He's
just
gonna
one
have to
card,
pass back.
and he's going to have to be potentially
But the
ice
deck
card
on
from
water
Arsenal.
side, it's pretty small, right?
It is.
But it means he has all the cards he needs to win now, maybe.
Kale's out. Kale's glimmer of hope is that card in his arsenal is a sigil of sorts.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's what Kale's we're hoping for Kale here if he wants to win.
But I mean, that's probably
Blue,
the warrior on Wouter side too, you know.
and
there you go.
It is a sigil, and it's unfortunate that it's an ice card here because it means he has to do it now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he has to show it. Yeah, he'd rather do it during the combo, you know.
You'd love for your opponent to commit the Storm Striders.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then that way the shields sort of come down if you can get them on off an arsenal. And there doesn't seem to be any hesitation here. He has the Scolding as well to push it up to a total of 7, and then the weapon's going to be 4 more. So he blocks 3 and moons.
And
that's game.
Yeah.
Wow, that was really clean by Wouter. He worked through the first half of his deck with like pretty clean efficiency, making great value decisions. And Kale was willing to trade. And then we saw what Iyslander does.
Exactly what she does best.
It puts you against a wall, a rock, and a cold place.
Chip away. Yeah, absolutely. Very cold place.
And took it down.
That was a nice game.
Yeah, it was interestingly played at the start by both players because like I wasn't sure if we were going to go into a fatigue game or like a grindy trading game, and it was kind of in flux for a few turns.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then I think what happened is that because of those 2 Chilling Ice Veins that came out early, Kale was like, no, I need to be more aggressive because if I sit back, he's already got these pieces.
But it didn't look like he had the perfect hands to go aggressive.
No. You can only work with what
stuck.
you've got, and I don't think Kale had those big turns that lined up, those cripplings, those. I guess he plays. I don't know if I don't even know if he has Spinal in his deck in this match.
I don't think so. No, but we saw at some point he tried to send a big crippling crush, but that was the perfect defense reaction on the Wouter side.
That was huge. Having a D-react on the one turn that Kale went fully in, just really took any like value and tempo out of Kale's game plan.
Well, it was a great game, yeah. Do you think that that Iyslander is a good pick in this meta game, by the way? Because you chose not to play it, to play her. So even though you mentioned that you're experienced with her. So.
Yeah, and I really enjoy playing Iyslander. I think that the problem is that you struggle into Lexi. Lexi is just. There are so many cards that like the Frostbites don't do anything against. Like if I have 3 of a kind. It doesn't matter if you give me Frostbite. I have so many cards.
Yeah,
I'm just
left to use the resources.
And Iyslander struggles with blocking the arrows effectively. Like she can't cover them up, but she also can't trade back aggressively. So you end up blocking inefficiently and trading quite inefficiently without being able to disrupt too cleanly. And it's certainly not like a completely unwinnable matchup. It's just where the old like premier aggro decks of the format was stuff like Briar and Fire as well. But like Briar was such a great matchup for Iyslander because just one Frostbite could lock them out. Hypothermia,
it was turnover.
You know, ends your day. Like there were so many ways that you could just like you get like, such a great matchup, and we saw like in the World Championship with Michael Hamilton playing Briar in both the semi-finals and the finals, like just how dominant that matchup can be, and sort of the metagame shifted away from that. And I think.
Yeah, I mean that's what a lot of people were saying. Like, if Michael Hamilton isn't playing Iyslander, it's unplayable in the meta game. But we see some people having some success with Iyslander. So I mean, her reign might not be totally over. In some instances, especially versus the Guardians and the slow matchups like Oldhim, she has very good game.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
And we saw lots of.
My friend won a RTN on Iyslander yesterday.
Yeah, so there you go.
So it's not dead. And as we see, Wouter carrying the flag all the way at all the way
Maybe
now
a top
11?
8 qualification. Yeah, and that should be 10, 9,
It's round
10
10.
and 1. It was round 10, so yeah, it should be
9
9 and
and
1.
1.
Yeah, 9 and 1.
9 and 1. That's with 13 rounds. I guess he'll need 1 or 2 more wins.
Yeah.
Not a bad record.
Yeah, I mean, with the hero that's
take it.
yeah, a bit from race, but yeah, that's cool. Maybe we can take a look. We talked about it earlier about the spoil cards and have you some of your input and
Sure,
what you
of course.
think about them. Can we show them to remind Matthew of what they're doing? Oh no, that's the players still playing. Do we have? Oh, some of the games are still going on.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind also to look at the top
The
tables.
results, yeah.
There's a lot of my friends are still doing great. We have so many strong players in the UK that even if I don't have a great tournament,
You're happy if
we
your
have
friends
so
win.
many
Yeah,
great
yeah.
players. Like just a brief look at the first table of screen of tables. I saw three of my good friends from the UK right in the mix, right in contention, and so it's cool that even if you aren't having the best tournament, your friends are still out there battling and doing well.
Yeah.
You know, you have someone to support. And
Who do you play test with these days?
so I don't have much of a local scene in the UK where I live, which is a shame. And so I end up playing a lot on Talishar, which has been the case for quite a while now. I was one of the first people to really commit a lot of time to practicing on Talishar. And I mostly just play with some of my friends from the UK and Team Magnolia Gaming as well. The Lexi list we put up for the Pro Tour was a lot of work from Team Magnolia, and we had some great results. We had Matt McInnes, who went 8-0.
Oh yeah.
We had Matt Washabor, who he topped the calling, and me in the top 8 of the Pro Tour. It was, my friend Pete Ward also went 7-1 with a list very similar to ours. Okay, so now we have some of the new...
Oh, there you go. So the
new
Flayer of
cards.
Agony, Luminaris, and Phantom Banshee. We don't have too much time to talk about them, but what's your first impression? when
Okay,
you
so
saw
my
it? Because
first impression of Flail of Agony
Yeah, it's basically a free attack. If you
is Shyana has a new weapon.
yeah, there you go.
That's what everyone wants to know about. Is Shyana in UPF?
Yeah.
I'm a UPF specialist actually. I'm going to be playing.
Oh, yeah?
I'm going to be playing the UPF.
Oh,
side
I
event.
want to play a UPF game with you. I love UPF too.
I'm playing
so-
the UPF side event in just
Yeah,
1 hour's
I
time.
won't be able to play this one with you, but at some point we need to play together. UPF
So I
game,
think I think that Flail of Agony is potentially very good. It probably will struggle into heroes who have like easy ways to block one, but we can see that Vincent is going to be heavily rune charm based.
Yeah.
And if there's a strong amount of rune chant generation, and you can finish your turn with 1 rune chant basically every time, that's going to make starting off and getting to higher rune chant counts way easier.
And all these cards with Rune Gate like Phantom Banshee, it's gonna be insane if you can get like a free rune chant every single turn. It's so much easier.
The real
to play.
question for Flail of Agony is it competes with...
Rosetta.
No, I mean, everything has to compete with Rosetta, with Nebula Blade.
Yeah.
With Nebula Blade, because that's probably if Vincent's heavily rune chant based in the same way that Viserai is, and I know that Rosetta Thorn still takes the pick in Viserai, but Vincent might be even more rune chant based. Nebula Blade coming in on the end of a turn for 4 to generate 1 rune chant is really a difficult thing to deal with, and people forget how good that card was in Chain back in Monarch, because now we have Rosetta, and we're like, who would ever want to play?
Anything
this card.
other than Rosetta, yeah.
But the Luminaris looks underwhelming in comparison to old
So the
Luminaris.
previous one, yeah.
But I think that's
The
probably
previous one
people.
was so strong that
Yeah,
it
people
makes
have
sense
too
that-
high of an expectation, and I also think that Prism's, for the hero to function, Prism should have some kind of text which helps her cards be more continually playable, like in a longer chain. So I expect more of her hero to make sense when we see Prism's hero. I think the Luminaris will start to make more sense as well.
Yeah.
I have faith that the LSS people have a plan when they make the cards. That's,
Yeah, well,
that's
we
safe
know
bet.
they have a plan. Yeah, and the thing is, what I like about it too is that it's always something different than what everybody else expects.
Yeah.
I'm always surprised even though lots of people have lots of expectations and lots of theories about what's going to happen, it's always something different. So I love
sometimes it's not even what they expect.
Yeah.
You know, like sometimes they make Starvo and they're like, oh, we didn't realize you could put 57 elemental cards in a deck and you create a monster.
That's
you know?
a bit too much. Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes they don't even expect what they made, you know. So.
And the last one, Phantom Banshee. Well, lots of people are saying that it's a 0 for 10 attack. But what's your take on it?
I think 0 for 10 is disingenuous. It looks good for sure. At base, being a 3 for 7 is not a bad card.
It's decent.
It's solid. It's fine. You're never unhappy to play a 3 for 7, right? Like 3 for 8 is great. If you're doing 3 for 8, you're making money. But if you can get it for free,
that's insane.
That's
the value is insane. Yeah.
So it's gonna depend how easily you can maybe give it go again. And how easily you can get to that 3.
Come on. Don't talk about giving go again to Runeblades, man.
Yeah, I mean,
we know what happens when you do that.
Well, it just because the fact is you have to get 3 rune chants.
Yeah.
You can't, it's not a cost reduction. You need to get all 3, right? So if you have 2 rune chants, it doesn't help you. You need all 3, and 3 is relatively high threshold. So it depends whether Vincent has easy ways to generate rune chants throughout a turn, or whether it's a case of playing something like a read the runes the turn before to unlock your rune gate. So maybe...
Or make the Movrian skies more important to block than ever before. I mean, you always want to block them, but in this case, it's going to be the difference in...
Maybe Phantom Banshee ends up looking like a bit of a top end, finally I've got 3 rune chants, I can do my big full pump attack. Speaking of rune chants, in the UPF, I'm going to be playing Viserai.
Oh, nice!
Yeah.
You haven't played the Viserai a lot competitively.
No, I have.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I came second in a battle hardened with Viserai.
Oh, nice!
I was one of the first people to popularize the Viserai Blitz deck.
Oh.
And I realized you can play it.
You can still play it in
UPF.
In UPF.
You can blow up 3 people in one turn.
Yeah.
Hopefully...
It is insane.
We'll ruin some people's days. Anyway, I think...
Okay, well, I hope you have fun. What's the prize on the UPF table? Do you know?
It's a gold 4.
Oh, yeah? You're still farming gold 4.
Yeah, I mean, if I can't get it in the main event and the battle is sold out, then I will go to the UPF.
Okay, well, it was amazing to have you here, Matthew. Thanks a lot, my friend, and have fun at the UPF table. And yeah, talk to you soon.